Candid, captivating, compelling. Welcome to Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Listen in as Dr. Dina, medical marijuana pioneer and inspiration for the award-winning TV series Weeds, shares never-before-heard stories, chats with cannabis insiders and celebrity friends, and provides invaluable perspective and insight into one of the fastest-growing industries in the world. CannabisRadio.com proudly presents Cannabis Confidential with your host, Dr. Dina.
Welcome to Cannabis Confidential. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Dr. Dina, and it's very nice to be able to say that sentence without being interrupted, Tommy Chong. You know who you are. We only tried that intro about 15 times. Today we have a really special guest. She's one of my close friends, someone who I actually really just adore and look up to in this cannabis space. Maya from Om. You are the bomb. Welcome, Maya.
Well, Dina, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm officially blushing because I'm your fangirl. So,
well, we could fangirl over each other.
Exactly.
So for you guys that don't know Maya, you should, because I've known of Maya's products for as long as I've been going to any cannabis event. She's always been there. Om has been the go-to for me for bath salts, for soaks, she was really the first person, I think. Maya, were you the first that came out with like a medicated bath product?
I have not found anyone else who's done it sooner. I know there's a Thai culture that does like a fresh THCA leaf thing.
That's different. This is because I'm always a true believer in Epsom salt baths. Like they save me. And I think that I have like maybe a magnesium deficiency or something that when I take a Epsom salt bath, I just feel human again. But to combine the two was something that kind of blew my mind because I was so used to going to events and seeing, weed to smoke and hash and brownies and cookies. And your line was so like the antithesis of everything that was out there. It was like spiritual and organic and earthy. And so tell us a little bit more about your line.
Thank you, Dina. That's so sweet. That means the world to me because I know you're a connoisseur and a daily user yourself. So thank you. It's really simple. We believe we get out what we put in, and our products are only as good as the ingredients that we use to create them. So we actually view cannabis as a superfood. We spend so much time kind of forcing this wonderful plant into these little boxes. Like, is it recreational? Is it medical? And these drastic, dire separations. I'm like, but what about the whole zone in between where we're talking about flowers and herbs and supplements and superfoods, holistic lifestyles, mind-body connection, self-care? To me, that's what cannabis is. It's a plant that's got a million different uses, a literal cure-all. And when we combine it with other nutrient-dense ingredients and superfoods, we can make superior medicine.
Well, that obviously got you some attention in the space because all eyes were on you, especially after you started winning Cannabis Cup after Cannabis Cup after Cannabis Cup. And everyone wanted to be like an Om, which is really special. And I thought it was so sweet. Whenever there's someone that copies your product, it's because you have something good. It's like you have to remember It's a compliment in the end, even though it probably drives us all crazy because we're the ones that spend all this time creating but it does happen. But the original to me is really the best. And of course, when you have a big celebrity who's looking to create a product in the space, they're going to look for the best. And of course, Whoopi Goldberg had heard about you. In fact, she had been shopping in my store and we were talking about her wanting to getting involved in the cannabis space. And of course, we had Whoopi on the show as well. And we had such a great talk. We ended up talking for an hour. But, she, from day one, before she even had a meeting with you, she was talking about your products and how blown away she was about, they seem like they belong on the shelf of like a Whole Foods market as opposed to a drug den, which is what she kind of felt like some of the products were just kind of geared towards men. And so together you guys made this beautiful partnership and created Whoopi and Maya. And let's talk about that a little bit.
That was like, such a moment in my life where I was like, oh my God, this world is such a trip, because I grew up watching Whoopi's movies. You know, me and my whole family are serious fans. Like when we all got together for movies and stuff, it was usually a Whoopi Goldberg movie because she was funny and we all loved her. So you can imagine the feeling when I got this cold call. I was actually in Grass Valley at the time, up on the cannabis farm. We used to have an all-female collective where we were growing cannabis. It was called Homegrown. And I got a cold call from Rick Cusick asking if I might be a person to talk to about a cannabis menstrual line, you know? And so, you know, that being said, this whole thing was her idea. She had this vision because she, like many other women, kind of go through this process alone where we're not really supported in talking about our bodies when it comes down to things that they're supposed to be used for, like breastfeeding or using the restroom or menstruation so we can keep the human race going, you know? And she realized that cannabis was her ally and there weren't very many choices out there. So that's where this whole thing came from. And it's a multi-herb line. We worked with a woman named Alexis, who's an herbalist. And we just basically made everything a lady would want on her moon cycle, which is a rub, a soak, chocolate, and a tincture, medicine, multi-herb tincture.
I think it's really interesting because, you know, as someone that has always had a terrible, terrible moon cycle, you know, and actually suffers from endometriosis, I've always found that cannabis has been my go-to medicine as opposed to taking like major pharmaceuticals that the doctors would prescribe. Because when I take those pills, I can't drive. I'm like drooling on myself. I can't function.
Sure.
But cannabis has always been great, but it needed to like be amped up. And when I really am a firm believer after having this dispensary for 17 and a half years, is that you really want to get the cannabis as close to the problem as you can. So if if you're having really bad cramps, you want to get cannabis inside your uterus. And it's funny because Whoopi, when she was so funny, I was complaining about my cramps and she's like, girl, you have to get in the bath, put in the oils, put in the salts, and then just, you know, make sure that water gets up there. You know?
Exactly.
And I remember like sitting in the bath thinking about Whoopi. I'm like, this is a very strange like thought that I'm having right now. But after like 15 minutes in the bath, I felt like a new person.
Exactly.
Like, different person. All of like the spasms I was having stopped. And I just felt like, okay, maybe this is what a normal period feels like.
Exactly. And that's the thing is that like magnesium salt, it stops muscle cramping. And that's what's happening when we have menstrual cramps. It's our uterine wall is shedding its lining. So it's like literally working.
Yes, I think this is something that not a lot of people really want to talk about or think about, but it's like, look at the population. Look at how many women are in the world. And clearly this is something that women have once a month, and it starts at a young age. And so a lot of parents don't want to give their kids like a joint to smoke, but they're totally open to giving them a bath with bath salts.
Exactly. Something as non-invasive as a topical.
Amazing. So that is just the coolest thing ever. So thank you. I cannot wait to re-ump. I actually took a bath last night with some Om bath salts. Delightful.
Thank you.
The blue.
What
the blue
flavor?
One. The blue.
Oh,
was a
yeah,
blue
the
package.
fragrance free?
Yeah, fragrance free. You know what? It was the fragrance free I tried.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
You know what I like about that is that it really is fragrance free. So it's like if you get the girl who I bet you get a lot of who come into Oz who are like, no, I only do Lush. And you're like, yeah, but you can medicate Lush and give yourself medicinal benefit and nutritional value if you add these fragrance free Epsom salts to your bath experience, you know, or someone who is super sensitive to fragrances or has really bad eczema or psoriasis. That fragrance-free is perfect for people like that.
Yeah, so the Lush bath bombs, I feel like for me, it's just a surefire way to get a bladder infection. And so I always start with a product for the first time. If I could find like a fragrance-free, I'm all for that. And I could always add in essential oils too, which I feel good about, you know? And you taught me a lot about essential oils.
Exactly. Well, the other thing is like, you know, people don't realize it's quite a responsibility to be making a product that's kind of like an intimacy product. It's touching people's most intimate places. So we use pharmacological grade Epsom salts for Om and Whoopi and Maya because of that. Like we could have salts that are taken from the earth, which is full of pollution. And also, I don't think the earth needs to be drilled anymore when we don't have to. Instead, we get ours from a controlled lab environment. And like, it's super important to think about, especially as a lady who can be sensitive myself. It's like, to make something fizz, you immediately have to mess with a lady's pH, because you do a citric acid, which is basically a vitamin C, and you do baking soda. So those two components together is what makes the bath bomb fizz. And right away, that's a pH up and a pH down. And for every woman being different, you just kind of are shooting in the dark and could be throwing people's pHs off.
Interesting. Well, that is really cool.
Not to mention like colors and fragrances. So it's a straight shot right into your womb space, which is, it can cause birth defects, and we just don't really have a natural defense. So it's super important to use high quality things.
And also, like people with cancer and stuff, I'm very sensitive about what kind of oils and things that we give them.
Of course.
Well, but we're going to go to a very quick break. So let's not go anywhere, because you're going to want to hear more information from the one and only Maya Elisabeth. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina will continue after a word from our most confident sponsors.
The National Cannabis Industry Association's 6th Annual Cannabis Business Summit and Expo returns to San Jose, California's McInerney Convention Center July 22nd through the 24th. Register today at CannabisBusinessSummit.com and take part in the most influential, award-winning cannabis conference and trade show, hosted by the cannabis industry's only national trade association. NCIA's Cannabis Business Summit and Expo offers attendees 3 days of engagement and interactive programs. Arrive early so you can participate in our pre-conference workshops and off-site tours. Join hundreds upon hundreds of exhibitors and thousands upon thousands of attendees at NCIA's 6th Annual Cannabis Business Summit and Expo, July 22nd to the 24th in San Jose, California. Register today at CannabisBusinessSummit.com. That's CannabisBusinessSummit.com. Now available for pre-order through crowdfunding for just $14 plus $10 shipping. Pouches, premium mixing and rolling pouches, allow you to carry and prepare your herbs for consumption with discretion and ease. These stylish pouches are handcrafted using strong zips, long-wearing buffalo leather outside, and smooth sheepskin inside. A portion of proceeds go to fund vital medical research into cannabis for ADHD. See a demo and get yours now on Indiegogo or pouches.com. That's POUCHZ.com.
Hey, take a look at this. They're selling smart pots.
They have pot that can make you smart? Where is it?
Not that kind of pot. Smart pots are the best aeration container to grow your plants. Check this out. This is the original fabric container for faster producing, healthier plants. They're made with a superior fabric that delivers high yields. Plus, smart pots are reusable and sustainable, so you can use them over and over again, no matter if you use them indoor or outdoor.
That's very smart, but how good are they for the environment?
Smart pots are BPA-free and lead-free, so you'll always be able to ensure a pure, clean grow, and they're 100% made in the U.S. Over 28 million smart pots have already been sold, so it seems like a smart investment.
Look for smart pots in close to 2,000 garden centers throughout North America and ask for the original fabric container. Find a store near you or order yours online at smartpots.com.
Dr. Dina is back with more Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back. You're listening to Cannabis Confidential on Cannabis Radio with Dr. Dina. And today we have Maya Elisabeth, and we are talking about Whoopi and Maya. We're talking about moon cycles, all the wonderful female parts of the plant, because of course the plant is female. So it is time to have powerful women take over the industry. And so we have Maya here. Maya and I just went to, we've actually seen each other a lot lately. We were in Spain together in Barcelona for Spanibus. What was your experience there?
Oh my God. Like, what a magical and beautiful place, huh?
That was incredible.
The culture, it's such a warm culture. You know, I'm from the Bay, born and raised. And as I've watched the techie boom kind of happen again, you know, San Francisco's gotten so expensive. And I look around, it's like there's more money there than ever. And there's more homeless people and drug addicts on the street than ever. Spain is like meticulously clean without any homeless people anywhere. You know, it's like really telling of their society. I believe they give them places to stay at night. And I think that you can afford a better life over there. You know, it seems like people relax and have a high quality of life and are just healthier in general.
You know, that's really interesting observation, because I didn't even pick up on that, to be honest. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just so excited to be there and looking at everything. But you're right. It was very clean. There were no homeless people.
I'm like, leave it to me.
Right. Well, no, you live in a more condensed city, I think. No, we still have a homeless problem where I live as well. But to be honest, I just wasn't thinking about it. I was just probably looking out for pickpockets.
Well, and I also noticed that, you know, the place is so old. There's so many old churches and stuff, and maybe people are a little bit more faith-based. So maybe they open their doors at night and let people in. I'm not sure. You know, maybe there are just as many, but they get shelter at night.
That is very good point. It was so beautiful. The buildings, the Gaudi, everything about Spain was gorgeous. I've been to different parts of Spain, but Barcelona was my first time there. And the people were just so wonderful and warm. And it was interesting to see how they have these social clubs that are all private, and you have to have a membership. And in order to get a membership, you have to know someone. So it became this like interesting, like, oh, do you know someone? It was like kind of old school, like, can you get the name of your dealer, you know, kind of thing.
Exactly. I felt like the cannabis culture was like really fun and thriving still. And like, I also really enjoyed that you can order a glass of wine while you smoke in a social club if you want. It's not because I think that cannabis and alcohol should be mixed all the time, but I think that if you're an adult, you'd like to make a decision for yourself. You should be able to enjoy whatever you want, you know?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, if I want to bring someone to a club and maybe they don't smoke and they want to drink and I want to smoke, it's like, why shouldn't they be able to do that?
Exactly. And I just always thought it was so interesting. Like, I understand we had to go on Prop 215 to get where we did, just like when they, started lifting the alcohol prohibition, people had to press the medicinal side of moonshines and stuff, you know? So like, I understand, but you know, here in California, now that we're having to deal with all this Prop 64 stuff, I feel like we should be able to enjoy like an adult if we'd like to.
Isn't it so hard to like deal with 64 a little bit? Because, you know, we're that part of like we were raised by the Dennis Perone culture of all use is medical use. And I actually had Dennis on my show before he passed. And, you know, he made it very clear to everyone not to vote for this. And this is not legalization. And here we are now with it passed. And all of the hoops that we have to jump through and the losses that we're taking, the financial losses, because the smallest mistakes cost so much money. And some of it's just so silly.
I know. It's like death of 1,000 tiny paper cuts, you know? And like the craziest thing about it is that like the first time I was told that we had to do a relabel, it was like a batch size of a couple thousand items. I like threw myself on the ground and bursted into tears because I was so frustrated and we were going to lose an extra week on that item. And now, like a year and a half later, I'm like, oh, a relabel. All right, you guys just, you know, throw the things on, let's go. And like, just really become a part of life. Right. So,
okay. So we're learning. It's just kind of, it's like in the beginning when you got rated by when I would get rated by the DEA, it was like the worst thing ever. And I couldn't function for like 3 months afterwards. And then they would keep coming and it was like, whatever, I'm open again the next day.
You know, and it's like, there's like a part of it that's like funny about that. And also a part that's just so sad. I'm like, cool. So I'm dead on the inside and I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't even bat an eye because you've had to become that way, you know, to survive, which is actually not true. I so super care, actually so super care so much that I'm not the one dealing with metric, for example, you know, and like, as we all grow and during this time, for me, what our experience at Om and Whoopi and Maya has been is like, no one can do everything. So it's time to really start delegating and building your team, right?
Right. And we've all been wearing too many hats this whole time. And unfortunately, it's getting a little scary. In fact, I have a plaque that's sitting in front of me that was given to me by one of Snoop's managers. And it's a picture of Mike Tyson. And it says, everyone has a game plan till they get punched in the face.
Exactly.
And it's just a reminder every day that, you know what? Watch out for left hooks.
It's so true. And like, and you know, the thing is like, you know, just on a personal level, like I will personally share with you because it's not something that I hide. I voted no twice. And it's not because I'm a prohibitionist. It's not because I was greedy. It's not because I wanted to block people out. And it's definitely not because I think cannabis should be illegal. It's actually quite the opposite. It's because I understand being able to work
the
with this
regulations
plant
were too
our
strict.
way, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I knew what it was going to be, but it was also like, if we missed another year, then what would that have said? So like, it was a really challenging thing as a whole, you know? And then
we had to take one for the team a little bit, I think, for the rest of the world.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
If it was a no, it would have hurt the rest of the world. And instead,
it's true.
It's pushing the rest of the world to talk about it. I mean, I just got back from Mexico. I was staying with Vicente Fox at his compound, the former president of Mexico, and they're trying to legalize it there. I mean, so it's and to take away the power from the cartels, which we don't know if that will ever happen, but it's it's a really tough one. But we definitely we took one for the team, and now we're stuck with it. So we have to make the best of it, and we are. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm so blessed to be able to work with you. I mean, the fact that, you know, we can keep the old group, the old crew together, you know, the OGs, and we have to power up. We have to team up, and it's going to take numbers to fight these new big corporations that are coming in.
Absolutely. And you know, the word I hear a lot these days, legacy, you know, I heard someone who wasn't legacy said that they didn't want to work with legacy people anymore. And I kind of laughed. I was like, well, good luck. Like, you're going to have booths and you're not going to know any of the ways of our culture, you know? And, you know, it's like, for us to move forward, we kind of have to co-evolve and adapt together, you know, and find ways. And I think both people can be triggered by each other, you know? But for me personally, as a legacy person myself, I truly, truly enjoy connecting with other legacy people, because there are parts of our culture that you know, if you don't know, you just don't know. And the way we developed the way that we did is because it was illegal. You know, that's why cannabis has 1,000 names, because we didn't want people to know what we were talking about. We didn't want to get busted. You would never brand, because that would identify you with your product, and that's basically telling on yourself. So
exactly,
you know?
Exactly. No evidence. That's what we were raised with.
No paper trail.
Could you imagine where we would be if we were all, you know, branded out, you know, 15 years ago? Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you who I don't envy is all the bookkeepers who are working in cannabis who have to clean up all of these long messes where it's like, well, honestly, I don't remember. I don't know. We weren't allowed to bank, and I don't really know. Like, I have nothing.
Yeah, I don't have my receipt books, or the feds took my receipt books. That's always a good one.
So. Exactly. I mean, things happen, you know, things happen.
You know, one of my partners, when we were raided in 2007 by the DEA, and they raided all of the dispensaries in West Hollywood on the same day, just to like put out a message to the city saying, we're on to you. We know you're being, you know, a little too loose and friendly with these marijuana stores, and we got raided, and then they took everything. And then at the end of the year, Jason decided to when he filed his taxes, he wrote off the raid as a theft, because they never returned anything and they never pressed charges. They just stole us. This is a theft. And he wasn't breaking the law for this to happen. And so, you know, with 280E, we can't write off any cost of goods because of Al Capone. Thank you, Al. But because of that, they didn't have anything there about a raid. And so they actually had to rewrite 280E because of Jason.
Wow. So did he get the write-off?
They're still arguing over it, but basically now it's 280E says that you can't write off a raid as a theft.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know, the things that we've been involved with. But we have to run to a quick break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Maya Elisabeth.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina will continue after a word from our most confident sponsors.
Educate, empower, and engage in the evolution of the cannabis industry. Join thousands of industry professionals on August 3rd and 4th in Miami, Florida for the return of the U.S. Cannabis Conference and Expo. Register for an early bird discount now at usccexpo.com. That's usccexpo.com.
In 2018, The National Cannabis Industry Association saw a 60% increase in congressional co-sponsorship of their priority legislation, the federal legalization of hemp, as well as the election of a new Congress expected to be more cannabis-friendly. NCIA will host our 9th annual Cannabis Industry Lobby Days, May 21st through 23rd in Washington, D.C. Join in, advocate for our industry, and forge a unified front with the industry's most politically engaged leaders. NCIA members from across the country descend on Capitol Hill for our annual Lobby Days event to tell their stories and advocate for federal reforms needed for our industry to reach its full potential. Make your plans now to be at the National Cannabis Industry Association's 9th annual Cannabis Industry Lobby Days in Washington, D.C. Register for Lobby Days and learn how NCIA works to advance the cannabis industry's policy agenda every day at www.thecannabisindustry.org/lobbydays2019.
Educate, empower, and engage in the evolution of the cannabis industry. Join thousands of industry professionals on August 3rd and 4th in Miami, Florida for the return of the U.S. Cannabis Conference and Expo inside the Hyatt Regency in downtown Miami. Register before May 1st for an early bird discount of 50% off now at usccexpo.com. That's usccexpo.com. Join us for the 2019 U.S. Cannabis Conference and Expo August 3rd and 4th in Miami. Register now at usccexpo.com.
Dr. Dina is back with more Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back. All right, you guys, we have so much exciting information we need to learn from Maya. So, Maya, we have a couple people that wrote in with questions for you.
Sure.
I hope you don't mind. So, people,
I love that.
Number one question: what do you like to smoke?
Oh my God, this is my favorite question. I am all about high quality cannabis. People think I'm like a non-solvent only. That's absolutely not true. Many times I go throughout my day dabbing and I don't feel complete until I've actually smoked a doobie, because I'm super all about whole flower medicines. I also love butane hash. Hate on me if you want. When it's done right, I don't care. It's a capture of terpenes and it tastes good.
Good.
So for me, I smoke all the things. I'm more about the profiles. So for me personally, this is my disclaimer. This is my personal taste. I don't care for tangy. It puts a coating around my mouth and it's a flavor bully. I don't care for strawberry banana. It doesn't get me where I need to be. It's too floofy and it takes like children's Tylenol. What I like is gas. I love Kush, diesels. I love cookies. I like purples. I like pie, I like all of Powers Up strains. Anything gassy, pissy, stony, but not couch lock.
I love gassy flavors.
I have to get there. That's what I want. I want my brain to feel that way. And that's what I need.
That's the problem. What I think that some of like the new people in the industry, they don't really know about that. Yeah. So strains aren't being grown.
I had this guy look me straight in the face and tell me, that's impossible. I was like, I do it every day. I go, the problem is marketing and telling people that something's going to make them relax or get creative when you actually really don't know. And it's best to actually train people to build their olfactory knowledge and memorize which profiles they like, because the terps don't lie.
Terps don't lie.
What works for you, And this guy looked me straight in the face. He goes, that's impossible. You'll never do that. I was like, dude, I do it like all day, every day. I help people remember what works for them. And furthermore, to tack onto that, anybody who clowns Blue Dream is dumb in my book, because you want to clown weed and make a meme that's anti-weed. If you've been in the game for long enough, you'll understand that there's a lot of women out there and a lot of men out there, and older people especially, that
they love Blue Dream.
Blue Dream as a medicinal strain, because it's not a panic attack and it's like gently stimulating,
Yeah. It doesn't get people to where it's not going to blast them off. And that's why people don't like it. The snobs. Exactly. The snobs.
And anyone who's been in the game for long enough has made money off Blue Dream. You either trimmed it, you moved it, you did something with it. If you've been around for long enough.
It's a staple. You have to always have Blue Dream.
Right?
Always.
So
always.
I mean, it might not be my mind of choice, but it's historic and forever has helped so many people. So we have to respect the lineage and remembering that variety is the spice of life. If we didn't have terpenes, all cannabis would look, feel, taste, and smell the same. Now, nobody wants that.
True. That's so true.
Nobody wants that, you know?
So going to my next question, which I think you kind of answered, they wrote joints or dabs?
Both, and donuts, all the above. As long as it's like bomb and I care. See, this is the whole philosophy about Om and Whoopi and Maya too. It's like, instead of counting calories, count chemicals. Like, I like it in all forms, but I really strongly prefer for it to be organic. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's another question. Is Whoopi and Maya only for women?
Not at all. Cannabis doesn't discriminate. So never has somebody consumed cannabis and cannabis says, I'm not going to take your pain today. I'm not going to stimulate your appetite today. I'm not going to elevate your mood today. Never. Cannabis is for everyone. And actually the other herbs in our products and the essential oils, they're all for everyone too. And they have lots of different benefits.
I think that's something that a lot of guys are always thinking about when their wives bring home their Whoopi and Maya. It's like, ooh, is that for me?
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, you know, the Amber Moon is actually really unisexy. Like, it's very appealing to both men and women. It's warm, it's woodsy, it's sweet, it's got a few floral undertones, but it's not by any means girly. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, totally. So, gentlemen, if you're listening and your girls told you that's for me only, that's because they're just trying to keep it for themselves. It has nothing to do with it.
Exactly. Someone was telling us that their guy friend just wipes off the strul, so it just says men's relief.
That's so funny. There you go. Just wipe the strul right off. So if you were to give a bit of advice to a young female who wants to start off in the cannabis industry, what is your one bit of advice that you would give her?
Be authentic. Be authentic. Cannabis invokes creativity. Cannabis can relate to every single thing. Everything that we do naturally can connect with cannabis in some way. So find what it is that speaks to your heart and soul. What's your statement? What do you want to say in this world? And then combine it with cannabis, you know? One of my girls, Irie, she's super sweet. She's in Canada and she's an activist. She said, just put some weed on it. Like, take what you're good at and put some weed on it or infuse some weed in it. I'm like, see, exactly. So for me personally, don't make garbage things, and trying to do something that you're copying from someone or that's not authentic. We already know that in the end, it will crumble like a house of cards. So go into your own heart and your own mind and find out what you are really good at and what drives you crazy in a passionate way. And then figure a way to combine that with cannabis. That's definitely my advice. And if you are stumped and you don't know, I would advise cultivating a connection to this plant to invoke creativity. So we can provide all the education, we can provide all the safe access, we can provide all the consistent products, but until someone actually creates their own connection with this plant, something that's done through experience and time, you know, it won't be made. And for some people, that's just a topical or just a CBD. You know, you don't have to get high to form a connection to the plant.
Totally true. And now you made me think about that grandmother who got arrested at Disney World because she had her CBD oil.
Oh my God, that's so shady, dude. I'm waiting for a lawsuit.
I know,
I'm
seriously.
waiting for a lawsuit. It's like, it's kind of discriminatory to tell people they can't have alternative pain relief while people are dying of fentanyl and opioids. It's like really sad.
It is sad. It is sad. But you know what? That's why having options like what you make is really changing the world for so many people. It's giving them an option that they didn't think they had. And I want to thank you so much, because without you, we wouldn't have the Whoopi and Maya, we wouldn't have Om, and we wouldn't have this amazing, majestic, magical figure in our industry that is fighting for women. Because I know that, you know, you're like an all women business almost. Like, I know you have a couple guys in there to do some heavy lifting, but the ladies are running the roost in there, and it's really impressive. So because of that, you are my weed warrior of the week.
Oh my God, Dina. Thank you, Dina. I'm honored.
Thank you. You're so sweet, but I love you and you are amazing, and everyone needs to go check you out. So where can they find you online?
So we are OmEdibles.org and WhoopiandMaya.com. And actually, we're releasing our Epsom salts in CBD only. So That's coming up really soon at OmCBD.org.
Yay. So hopefully you'll be getting that in a store near you where it doesn't matter where you live. It should be everywhere.
We're tired of saying no. So if that's what we have to do to get our products to people, then that's what we can do.
Yep. So go follow her on Instagram, check out her website, go show her some love, and make sure to share this podcast with your friends. Give us 5 stars, some thumbs up, show us some love, and we'll be back next week with Cannabis Confidential. I'm Dr. Dina, and we'll talk to you soon.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without proper consent of CannabisRadio.com is prohibited.